Hello, hello, this is Paper Cuts Included coming to you live from the Ninja Turtle sleeping blanket, and that's how I know it's legit. Today we're going to be continuing our look at Dorohedoro Volume 2 for our Manga Monday segment. If this is your first ever Paper Cuts Included video, we are a comic book YouTube channel ran by me, my two co-hosts, and we want to talk about what we love. And what we love is comic books, baby. We put books like this under the microscope, break them down panel by panel, artist by artist, pencil to pencil, and really get into the nitty gritty of what makes a book work, what doesn't make it work, what can we do to get better, and how can we get better. So that's the kind of channel you want to listen to. Well, hit that notification bell so y'all can keep up to date with the most up and coming Southern comic book channel on the globe. So, like I said, we're going to be looking at Dorohedoro Volume 2, or continuing it. We're at the halfway point of it. It's a great story. I recommend everyone to read it. It's one of my favorite comics of all time. And yes, I consider manga comics. F you to all the prudes out there who don't think it is. It's really good. I think manga strives really good with character development, really good character growth. If you want really good black and white artwork, and if you want really good story, because if they're working chapter to chapter to magazine format, they gotta get good. So you can learn a lot from manga. Although my favorite manga is like one or two. I read Akira, I read this, Lone Wolf and Cub, and that's kind of it right now. So if there's any manga that you think I'll like, let me know in the comments because I love to get suggestions on what to read next. So let's bust her open and take a look at it. Starting off with spell number 9, Dances with Lizards. I would love to know how much of Americana Q is into, because I noticed this. So the first story in this book is called Night of the Living Dead, which the famous George R. Romero movie, and then this one's Dances with Lizards. Another famous movie, Dances with Wolves. So what are the other ones called? I wonder if they all are a movie title. Let's see, Night of the Living Dead, Bloody Battle in the Central Department Store Square, Dances with Lizards, Roast Duck a la Sorcerer, and the Sorcerer's World Tournament. So no, it's just this one and Night of the Living Dead are movie references, at least to my knowledge. If one of them's more so, let me know. But I really like this cover. It reminds me of some Madman artwork with Frank Einstein dancing. If you turn the pages, here we get to see Kaiman do his, Kaiman dance. So pretty cool. So let's see what's going on in chapter number 9. Boop. So it takes place with what the story is so far. First of all, go watch our previous video. We'll probably link that in the description. I need to get better about linking stuff. Kaiman, the man who got turned into a giant alligator, is trying to find out who turned him into that. And he finally got cut up by the antagonist. He got his head chopped off, but oh wait, he grew it back. But first off, they're gonna dissect his old head, which I love the premise. I love the story behind that. I also love how the artist does architecture. I think it looks really good. Her art style is really good at showing grungy, dirty, buildings, and I feel like stuff like this capitalizes that. Using those ink splatters, that really fine line work, I think really works really good. Her art style is very iconic to me, and I'd love to get one of her exhibition books, but they're always like $90 on eBay. And as an art kid in college, I can't really afford that right now. So maybe that'll be once I sell some artwork, I can get me one. But who knows? But no, really good artwork. Like I said, just really good black and white artwork with all the different tones. Doing black backgrounds for the windows. It just works really good. I think if she used the same detail as the buildings, it would be really congested and would not be nearly as good. But showing restraint in doing black backgrounds really works. Don't underestimate how good a black background can be, because if you do it right, I think it looks amazing. It gives it a personalized feel. And again, she's showing off her chops with the Kaiman's head in a jar. She draws reptiles so good. I don't know how she does it. She must have went to a zoo and studied for a week straight at some alligator or crocodile. Let me know if you know. I wonder if it says it in her exhibition book. But no, they're gonna dissect it. Or I think this is before they realize if they're gonna dissect it. They just want to keep it in a jar as a keepsake. And we get a really cool moment of the head start to do some bubbles. Really, really great pin work. If you want some good pin work, buy some of these books. I will say I had kind of had an old man moment. I had to rebuy the first two of Dorohedoro. I lost those two, and then I just found them yesterday, which is, of course, I did. I found them at my parents' house. Um, but when I first got into manga, because I read manga really hard in middle school, high school, mostly COVID is when I think I was at my peak of reading manga. Buy a manga brand new, $10 at the cheapest, $12 at the most expensive. You know, like you get you could get your Dragon Balls for 10, your One Pieces for 10, but then stuff like this or Beastars, $12. Now it looks like every manga is $16. I'm like, oh my god, that's too much, you know, too much. So yeah, there's my little rant. But no, showing and like love this gutter. She's just using just ink. I love it when an artist can really throw ink really well on the page, and she's doing that really well there. I just love that, you know. Outlaw comics to the extreme, if you know. And just a really fun panel, a really fun ink work. You know, she draws smoke a lot because when the sorcerers, um, if you know the story, the antagonists are part of the sorcerer world, and the sorcerers always use smoke. That's kind of like their, Harry Potter spell blast as they're using smoke, and it's always done with this some great just throwing some ink on, some stippling, really sometimes Frank Miller esque in ways, but very unique on its own. I'm not saying it is a Frank Miller. It's just what some people might have help relating it to. I always find it easy to kind of make a relation to something. That's how I always learn stuff better. Name repetition, stuff like that. So again, I'm not comparing it to Frank Miller. She's her own artist, but it's something that reminds me of it. Really good decapitated head too, and really good neck muscles. Like how do you study a decapitated head? I don't want to know the answer to that one. But no, look at that eyeball. That's probably one of her best panels in this, these first two books. It's really good. I think it's incredible. This segment might be my favorite segment in this chapter. I'm not going to say for the video yet. We'll save that for later. I need to start doing that. Just kind of writing down, stuff I really like. But no, now we're getting our female main character, Nikaido. They're kind of a dynamic duo, and they're trying to figure out who turned Kaiman into the way he is, you know? And Nikaido tells that, long time ago, he found a body without a head, and he got up and started walking. So that might be Kaiman. So, this book's really good about sprinkling in lore and kind of more story elements. If this was a Marvel book, this would be a whole flashback, a whole 22-page flashback. But here, what, one, two pages, and then it's done, you know? So I just like that. I like this book does really good about that story. Another great Kaiman panel. When she draws Kaiman, he is either good or amazing, and that's an amazing panel. There hasn't been a Kaiman panel yet that I'm like, ooh, that's kind of rough. She's a very, very talented artist. At least I hope it's she. Let me see what her pronouns are real quick before I just realized that she's one of the. She's a newer artist, so I never wanna, you know. Let's see. Q Hayashida pronouns. She might not have pronouns. I don't know. I just don't want someone to watch this video and be offended that it doesn't say. So I'm gonna assume she. Um, Transmask. What is Transmask? Oh, she was born in 1977, though. Oh, she's a lot older than I thought she was. That's how old my mom is. Huh. Now we're just doing some background on the artist. What does that mean? Oh. Hmm. What does she look like? Picture. Or is she kind of recluse like a lot of manga artists are? I don't have a photo of her. Huh. I don't know. If you know what her pronouns are, comment down below. But I'm keep saying her until I am corrected, and I'm happy to be corrected. We go with the flow here on this channel. We're not sticklers for anything besides art. If you make a crappy book, we're gonna talk about it, but in an educational sense. But no, back to your programming. Um, so no, they this is kind of their bounce back episode. In the last at the beginning of the book, they get their shit knocked in for the first time because the first volume they're kicking ass and taking names. So, and if you know manga, it comes out every week in that magazine format. And so, if it has how many chapters does this book have? It has one, two, three, four, 5 chapters. So that means the other one had 6 chapters. For those first 6 chapters, so 6 weeks, they're kicking ass, taking names. So, for over a month and a half, they're kicking ass. But, finally, they lose a battle really bad. Like, Kaiman literally gets his head chopped off. Nikaido looks like she dies, but with the power of sorcery, because she turns out to be a sorcerer, lets them escape. But it was kind of a draw, sorta. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna train to get better, but they're gonna do it in about a page. So we're also not gonna marvel that either. And just fluid action. And another thing Q does is she draws women's legs so good. All those leg muscles. She doesn't, Chun Li it and do like a really, you know what I mean. I'm not gonna explain myself there, but she's really good at drawing the figure. Really good at drawing, yeah, just the figure. Even Kaiman's leg muscles. How big they are. That knee looks really good. She's a really good artist. But no, now we're on to our, I guess, sort of antagonist. This book's really good about, oh no, I got a pop-up ad. Okay, we good. This book's really good about, like, there's not a side you can hate, because the way Kaiman's trying to figure out who turned him into who is by killing people, and this is N, who's a sorcerer, and he doesn't want his fellow sorcerers to get killed, so he wants to kill Kaiman. So it's a very, at least this early in the book. I have not finished this series yet. I think I read about a third of it before I went off to college, and I had a big thing about not reading if I didn't have the mangas, and I could not buy the mangas in college. So I'm hopeful to finish that series soon, maybe by December if I'm lucky. Still really can't afford to buy those books, but this book's really good about having really likable characters. There's not a character who you're just like, ooh, I hope they die, they suck, they're evil. Like, you get everyone's motivation. So this is N. He's like the godfather of his world. I don't like this costume though. He looks like he's ready for battle, and I feel like N looks a lot more imposing when he doesn't look like this. Um, but yeah, so they're a really cool moment, kind of selling that he's a top dog. Is he's trying out this like sports car broom, because of course a sorcerer has to wear they drive brooms. He establishes he's just going to sell it next month, under his brand. So just a cool little moment to signify that, yep, this is the top dog. But no, they're trying to figure out who uh a Kaiman is, because their magic doesn't work on him, and he's a tough cookie. So they're trying to figure out who he was and see if they can beat him somehow, or just find a sorcerer who turned him into who he is too. So I like that both sides. There's always a call to adventure, a point for them to do that. I hate it reading books when it seems like a character has nothing to do, no motivation. and you've just been kind of issue after issues just wanting them to do something. This book's not like that. This book always has something going forward in it. So, I like that kind of stuff. And, hopefully a lot of people do too. But no, they're going to see a sorcerer named Turkey. That's the end of it for this first chapter. Pretty cool setup though. Like I said, if you're getting this week to week, cool setup. You don't really know what Turkey is. You don't really know how it's going to be. So I give that an A for setup. A good little cliffhanger. You know. And now we get to the meat and potatoes of this book. Kaiman Nakaido and Kaiman's boss, the doctor, going to amputate, or I guess not amputate, dissect, because his head was already amputated. Gosh, fake fan over here. They're going to dissect his head and find out if there's anything special. Just with some really good artwork. Love this, gaping hole. Turns out the brains, you know, the brain's normal. He has a left and a right, with a fun moment of them trying to say, "Oh, I thought you only had a left brain." Funny story. I had a art professor my freshman year of college. I had him for basic drawing, and he was so into that left brain, right brain crap. Just like a perfect balance means you will be a perfect artist, so you must train your brain to be at perfect harmony. And he was very like, you cannot listen to anything, drawing. You just have to be in your room, close the curtains, no distractions. That is the only way you can get better. He was Russian. He was very harsh, but he was really good about weeding out people who weren't ready for art school, because anyone can do art school. It's just you need to be ready. You need to practice. You need to train. And there's a reason he's taught basic drawing, and I think it was to solely weed out, because half the class was artist, and then the other half was non-art majors. So, the half of the actual art majors, about a third of them would get weeded out or realize they don't want to do drawing. So he had a purpose. Man, I am ranting a lot in this video, aren't I? Hey, maybe people like that. Be more personal. But nope, as they're dissecting the brain or the head, the power goes out. And some really good just black and white artwork, too, using the white outlines to show, them in the dark. I really like that. They didn't have to do that, but it works really good there, in my opinion. And just using those different tones to really achieve dark, you know? I like that a lot. But no, like, look at that panel. That I want to see. Is there a version of that a lot bigger? Even the flashlight works really good. I would never think to do a flashlight like that, and now I'm gonna remember to do it. And hey, I got something from this book to take away, which means I really like it. If I can remember something from a book art wise, hey, that means I love your book. And this channel is maybe learn about a lot of books I love that way. But no, just some really good, just close ups of Kaiman with different perspectives too. I love it when an artist can really show off perspective, and she does it really good here. Far away like with him not even in the focus of the panel, then him directly in the panel, and just like that. I love it when an artist can do that. I think it really shows their chops. So just play around with perspective. Interesting perspective can really be a good way to keep your book flowing fluid, and let the reader breathe a little bit. So just play around with it. If you're going to do a page, do it 10 different ways. If it takes 100 pages to get one page right, it takes 100 pages to get one page right. And I will say, I do think she might have over inked these two real quick. They still look really good, but I can also see, like, what happened there? But it still looks really good. I just wonder if she did over ink them, you know? In my opinion, she could think that's perfect. And I'm not saying it's not bad. It is really good. I just wonder if her hand got a little too heavy right there. But no, someone stole his head, and the video camera didn't pick up anything, So, but no, and they're funny just moment. They always kind of end the book on a funny joke. Um, you know, the Kaiman accuses the doctor of stealing it. He celebrates at Nikaido's restaurant, the Hungry Bug, with gyoza. You know, with a little synopsis like, never found the head, but smoke always clears eventually. And just a fun moment. And then the book's ending gag, some more characters, a character who got turned into a zombie at the end of the book. Um, she's gotta fix them. Noi, the sorcerer healer, who's also a badass, and this is probably one of the most feminine, or probably the most feminine look we have her. So eat your heart out, fanboys. She's wearing a pencil skirt. She's got stockings on. Uh, you know, don't pause this video here now. I swear to God, if I find that the retention rate for this video just drops right here because people want to pause it, I'm a brain ya. But nope. There's one chapter. On to the next chapter. Roast duck a la sorcerer with a really good Shin and Noi. That's Noi's mask. All the sorcerers wear a mask, as we can see with Fujita and then Ebisu. But that's Noi's mask, and Noi is our very feminine character. She's a complete badass. She's probably the toughest by actual physical strength among our two groups of characters, and Shin, who has some really cool magic, and I can't wait to talk about it more. And if you ate your heart out of that video or that panel, well, you're gonna eat your heart out at Nakaido wearing I don't know what they're actually called, so I'm not gonna take a guess and hopefully try not to offend anyone. But very iconic panel. I feel like I see that piece of artwork a lot when people talk about Nakaido. She's at the hospital selling her gyoza because she runs a restaurant. Kaiman works at the hospital, and she kind of has a brain blast. She might know who the man with the hammer who cut off Kaiman's head was. And we know that at the beginning of this book, we already established that Shin lived in the hole. The hole is where Nakaido and Kaiman live. The sorcerers live in a different world. So just another really cool drop of character, character growth. We're kind of getting more Shin's past. We don't really know really a whole lot of anyone's past. So the artist kind of just drops it here and there. I think that's a really cool way to do it. It keeps us wondering, ooh, how six people dead? What happened? How is this gonna work? We even get his trade. Weapon was a hammer. He uses a hammer. It's just really cool. And we're meeting a new sorcerer, Turkey, and apparently he makes dolls. And what do dolls do? Well, they retain the memory and act like the original, but except they can't talk, they can't use magic, and they always seek out the original. In saying that even if they're dead, the original will just stand on top of where they're dead and find the body. So they're going to use it to, create Kaiman, or the man that Shin saw when he decapitated Kaiman's. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Boop. Yep. See if they can find this dude, the man in the blood. So to test it, because Shin's a little doubtful, they make a doll. Turkey's like, just make anyone who you can remember a lot. So he makes Noi with man. This chapter is the chapter of the fanboy. We're getting Nakaido and her outfit right there that goes all the way up, and now we're getting a titty of Noi, and there's gonna be some more things. So just a funny gag. Shin can hear Noi coming with coming up, and he just makes it go away really quick. I think in the anime he actually eats the whole thing to make it go by really quick, but which I like a little bit more than just making it just kind of disappear. So now we're getting Ibisu's not a zombie anymore. She's been healed, but just some almost Dr. Seuss. They managed to fix her, but she talks to herself. Her next little floppy. And I just think that's a cool little character trait now. She ain't fixed. We're gonna have a little weird girl for a while. But no, and then a fun montage of how they make the sorcerer or how they make the dolls. You know, I wonder if she researched her favorite duck recipe or just a duck recipe, because I'm sure it is a duck recipe. And then they make the homeboy with the crosses for eyes. So, and N doesn't know it. So hopefully he can track down the original. Man, is this the only? I guess that beginning was the only Kaiman and Kaido story we get in this chapter. That makes sense because the next chapter that we're not gonna look at today, that'll be Monday's video, or maybe this weekend because it's a little bit shorter than the other chapters. Um, yeah, maybe that'll be a Saturday. I did miss a video. I missed 2 videos last week. I'm sorry. I felt horrible about it, but I had some personal matters to attend to. Everything's good. It just took a lot out of me, but I will try to never miss a video again. We post Monday to Friday, every Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. So I apologize to everyone who was kind of left hanging Friday. I had so much going on, I couldn't get to it. But I should have made a community post about that, and for that, I'm sorry. But no, back to the book. But no, they get good old the doll dressed up, and they're gonna follow him. So in a fun montage, I like that panel a lot. The suit looks really good. I always talk about how good Shin's suit is. I never thought to do a suit like that, all black, just use the white for the outlines. I feel like I can't do a suit any other way now. That's an easy way to do a suit. It looks really good. So if you're struggling with suits, look at this book. And it's all about them line weights. Love. If an artist can do line weight amazing, they are an amazing artist. Um, Talking about you, Uncle Darrow. But no, the doll kind of goes to where he shops, which is a dirt poor shop, where Ebisu gets an interesting outfit. Um, Good, just body language too. The doll doesn't have a soul, it doesn't have a brain, and it's all slouched over. I think that's really cool. It reminded me of how Frank Quietly does Clark Kent compared to Superman. How Clark Kent's very sluggish, and Superman's, of course, the most perfect guy ever. Even the body language of Fujita being, a pencil. He's so skinny, and Noi, who's, very beautiful underneath, is the most muscular one there. I think that's really cool. You know, so just think about that. How do you do your characters? What's their body language? How do they stand? How do they have their hands in their pocket? Do they lean against the wall, or do they stand up straight? So just think about stuff like that. And I think it really helps books. So then they go to a restaurant, and it turns out it's a members only that's super expensive, that even people like In goes to. So, a little status symbol right there. So a guy, goes to a dirt poor, kind of clothing store, goes to an all, $5,000 restaurant, takes a train to a town that is apparently some of the weakest people in their world. So, such a mystery of who this guy is, which I like a lot. But no, man, he kicking the door really cool. And then it turns out they're at a shady, shady, shady apartment, who homeboy paid 2 years in advance, and he hasn't been seen in about a year. So, something's going on. We missed a cool joke. I wonder if I can find it again. Fujita all throughout this book is trying to be a detective, and Shin and Noi just don't want anything to do with him. They're like, "We didn't ask you. No one's asking you," and so he wants to prove himself, and doesn't work out too good because as soon as they find this mystery box, they fully did their detective scene. Well, Homeboy didn't take that too politely, which this has to be a collage. Like, there's no way you draw something that it just looks so collagey. If you know what this piece is, like if it's not a collage, like let me know. I'm sure it was very fun for that artist to make. You know, Collages are so fun to look at. It just looks so wild, so interesting. I'm gonna put my thumb over her boobs though. Hopefully YouTube don't get mad about that. But you know, collage your artwork, see what works. If that can make a super interesting page, do it. That's the stuff I love seeing in art, is people being innovative. It's just cool. I suck at collaging. I when I try to cut stuff out with an X-Acto blade, I look like I'm, chewing it with my teeth. I suck at collaging. And another class I took, freshman year of college, all we did was collages, and I got like B's and C's on everything for the first half of it because I just suck at tearing stuff out. But no, very interesting page, and a great just head too. Like, I feel like she's gotten better just in from the first book to this book. We'll have to do a comparison post. But that head looks so good. You know, I know a lot of people hate on manga art, or anime, but this looks so good. It looks a lot better than comics that are getting made now or for the past 10, 20 years. A lot better than artists we have in the States. A lot of those image boys, especially. But no, Shin's gonna fight this doll, so let's see what the doll's metal is. And it ain't too spectacular. Bleh. Just a quick two spread fight. I like that. If you're doing a manga week to week, you don't have a lot of pages to work with. But I think it is a really good fight scene. They trade blows for a little bit, but ultimately Shin ends it, which, of course he does. He's a badass. So just a quick fight, good fight. You know, mangas don't have that luxury of doing a whole issue for one fight. You gotta strike fast, strike hard, and disappear into the night. So, they kill him. They find a box. Noi's using her healer magic to kind of bring it back. And what do you know? It's just the head of the cross-eyed. So they found him. So what's going to happen in the next chapter? Well, I guess we won't know until next week when I review it. But really good chapter with some really funny gags to end it. Vegeta's still trying to be a detective. Ebisu's freaking out because they want to put the decapitated head in her bag. And just a good book. Another really good 2 chapters from Dorohedoro. There hasn't been a chapter I've read yet where I've been like, filler, or just not good. It's been really interesting. I love this artist's artwork. I love her storytelling. It's just really good. You know, if you haven't read a manga yet and you want something wild, want something crazy, check this book out. It's really good. I don't recommend a whole lot of mangas. Because I haven't read too many, but I really like this one a lot. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you. It means a lot to us. The more people who watch these videos to the end means the more the algorithm pumps out more and more videos to more and more people who want this style of awesome content. Like I said, we are the most up and coming comic book channel in the southern states, y'all. It's all Coca-Cola and hamburgers down here. I'm trying my best to represent the comic fans down here. But we're doing pretty good. We're at 48 subscribers right now. My summer goal is 100. I think I have a month and a week before I have to go back to college. So, we gotta put our nose to the grindstone and try to get 52 more subscribers. If we don't, though, hey, I'm happy with 48. It's 48 people who have followed me from, pretty early on. And I'd like to thank all of you guys. You guys don't have to watch a single video I do. It sucks to see when people unsubscribe, but you guys haven't, and I implore you not to. We have some fun videos in the pipeline coming up. We have this one. We're looking at Madman #3, Kick-Ass #3, a sort of pickup video. It was books I found at my parents' house, including some Frank Miller, Whoop Whoop, and then I don't know what we'll do for Friday. I might pause our Miller Friday segment for a little minute and start doing other books. We'll see though. We'll come back to that. But if you made it to the end and found something you liked, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can keep up to date with this great old channel of ours. We post Monday to Friday every week, 10 a.m. every day. And I guess I'll see you guys later.